its scope. So we need to have a regulated system, and other countries have regulated.
Dr. McGovern, I'd just like to get your opinion. There seems to be a stigma for years around cannabis being a drug to using other kinds. You've worked so closely with addiction for so many years. Is that something that is not the case anymore, and that stigma should not be there?
Well, I always say if you come out to West Tallock where I work and you believe that the people who live out there who become addicted to heroin are there because they had a route through cannabis, you know very little about addiction in general. The phenomenon of the gateway theory sounds nice. You know, you kind of start one and you move on to another. I think it's largely been debunked. To be quite honest, it's a distraction. It's often used as a weapon to halt people in their tracks who are looking at some regulations. So it's a long time ago since I kind of debunked that myself. To tape, really, to be honest.
Maybe from a European context, decades decriminalise cannabis and sort of things. Is there any country or maybe try and copy and emulate what they've done?
I think some states in the United States are good models. I mean, in Europe, there's almost de facto legalization in the Czech Republic, and some other countries have a more liberal cannabis use. I think in Luxembourg and Malta have recently changed their legislation, very similar to the bill that we have. Now, there's certain things, home cultivation, which is very well. I see a day where, you know, if people want to use cannabis, they do not have the fear to go to the black market, that there's a regulator and go down to the shop, product or whatever, and our system that we have at the moment, where revenues are generated not to the black market, more progressive things in society. I think that it's inevitable that will happen. Even in Germany this year, they're changing the laws around cannabis use. They have seen that, you know, the system that we have doesn't work. Criminals and people, it's just a kind of counterproductive. This is, I hope, I'm to avoid a debate around a regulatory system.
Actually, just have you had any
informally other people support it. Sinn Féin said they won't oppose it, so we'll see. I don't see them opposing it. This committee being set up, that's a possibility. You know, I'm not against. I think it's, you know, it's, I suppose about all this happened for a long time. Legislate and take these recommendations in, implement them, because we've had reports after reports. You know, you know, when we look at the wider debate around decriminalisation and, you know, and if we can change, you know, if we can change different mechanisms how we kind of treat people, it's willing to save, you know, society. To legislate and implement to 6 decades that, if possible, I mean, that's a good idea. Obviously, regulation actually. This issue, but
the media, and I put kind of words in your mouth. Tell us about the benefits of fervent, vocal people in my own decry the harms that are occurring. People who are most vocal benefits of prohibition benefits, because the one is a benefit, access to drugs, and it reduces harm. Now we look at jurisdictions move towards a more regulated market, we're not getting an explosion in the amount of people who use cannabis. We're getting more people who, when they do use cannabis, and particularly and say, well, I've got a problem now, whereas so much stigma and fear of prosecution that they're not even to ask doctors and politicians. My own profession, bearing in mind we're talking about a health net approach, don't really want to know about this. People who are very pro-prohibition and leave the divide, but the vast majority have any view one way or the other that they're willing to say legalisation. And it's okay also to say prohibition is a perfectly reasonable. My neck of the woods don't want to talk about this. I don't see anything for people to be fearful of now. This is a very, very central a long, long time, and I think we need to be open about it. Drug use occurs, and there's nothing to see here. We talk about it as if every
Deputy, just 2 questions for yourself. 7 grams of cannabis, 2. Come from? Was there any advice? Cannabis altogether. And thank you very much. So,
no, it's a good question. First, kind of Malta and Luxembourg. That I know it's very short content, but the legal advice or not is on board. That's in relation to full regulation. But the chance of that passing would have been, I think, very slim. Regulation, because if you just simply go and our